Welcome to Taiwan Talks, covering the latest global news from a Taiwan perspective. I'm Albert Cho. With the 2024 Taiwanese election approaching, U.S. Taiwan relations continue to be a focal point for candidates. Terry Gou's selection of Tammy Lai as his running mate raises questions as she must renounce her U.S. citizenship before becoming a VP candidate. Is this decision hasty? Additionally, does Ko Wen-je's second U.S. visit underscore considerable U.S. influence in Taiwan's elections? Joining us today are Liao Da-chi, Emeritus Professor of Political Science at the National Yat-sen University, and Chen Fang-yu, Assistant Professor of Political Science at the Soochow University. Very warm welcome to both on the show.
Thank you, Professor Chiu.
Okay. The road to Taiwan's presidency remains up for grab. While TPP's William Lai leads imposed opposition parties like KMT, TPP, and independent runner Terry Gou may nonetheless come together as one team. Could the coalition challenge Lai's lead? Is it coalition possible first? Professor
Okay.
Liao. Yeah.
I cannot say forming a coalition among the three, right? You mentioned about Terry Gou, and Ko Wen-je, and also KMT's Hou You-yi. I cannot say it's totally impossible, but I say the kind of opportunity for the three united together, possibility is quite low. Yeah, and also we have to decode what the meaning of kind of coalition. Yeah, what kind of form they united together. So I think still so many steps in front of us. You can see Terry Gou at the moment is still asked for the signature, but so far similarly encounter some difficulties. Maybe KMT should find some way for him to step down from this kind of presidential election kind of scenario. Yeah, but I don't know how, what kind of a stage KMT set up for Terry Gou to step down. But for the Ko and the Hou, it's still also difficult. They represent two different parties. The two parties want to win the kind of party votes for the PR list in our legislative year election. So also difficult for them to abandon their party label to unite it together. So I think they have to figure out some creative way to cooperate with each other. If they really cooperate with each other, there's some certain possibility to win over Vice President Lai. But right now, at the moment, the possibility similarly is quite low at the moment.
All right.
Yeah.
Professor Chen, what's your guess on this? I mean, in the end, because we still have 3 months to go to the election day, do you think it's realistic to expect this coalition to happen?
I would say that theoretically it is possible, and theoretically, if they form a coalition, they will win. But it is very difficult for them because it's very simple that nobody wants to be vice president. I mean, everyone wants to be the president, right? So, and also for KMT, it's a party with 100 years history and a highly hierarchical party. So it's very difficult for them to give up such a procedure and such a nomination for their own candidacy. And also for Ko Wen-je, he has a high opinion for himself. It's very difficult for him to give up running for president. Yeah, so I think it's very difficult for them.
We know that Ko visited the United States. That's his second time to visit the United States. Everybody says that U.S. now is a crucial step for candidates, to visit, demonstrating their leadership to tie with this major airline. However, Terry Gou's potential VP, we know that Tammy Lai, new face in politics, but not new face in the movie industry, faces a citizenship obstacle. So can she renounce her citizenship in time for the election, given a limited time frame? Let me give you a little bit information about this. If you go to AIT website, it tells you straightforward that it takes 4 to 6 months to finish up the renunciation process. So is she gonna make it before election?
My kind of understanding or my perspective, because I don't have too much information regarding the details, but from my observation first, there's a kind of before the Lai Pei-hsia, there was a case. Jamie Song's partner called Lin De-rui. Lin De-rui, is that right? Lin De-rui. Lin Rui-fu. Lin Ruifu or whatever, that's a vice president. Yeah, he got a kind of a U.S. citizenship also, but he renounced his citizenship within 2 months at that time. So I think for this kind of case, United States or the immigration office in United States may give some kind of a special treatment. They don't want to use this kind of technical kind of problem to stop the procedure. Then they always say they try to be neutral, right, in face of Taiwan's presidential election. I think that's my own understanding. They may also, okay, if you just follow Lin De-ri's case, Lin Defu the case, just go to the EAT office, make a kind of announcement, whatever, you can re-announce your citizenship within 2 months, because the predecessor's case is within 2 months, can finish the procedure.
Right. The application needs to be sent to the State Departments for a final decision. So, Professor Chen, do you think that the United States would be, like what she suggested, would kind of do a favor to Tammy Lai?
Well, according to AIT's director, Taipei director, Ms. Sandra Altkirk, she said in an interview that everything follows a standard procedure, which means that everything is just not according to the political decision. It's just a standard procedure of the government.
Procedure.
Yeah. So it's very difficult to say because it all depends on the government of the U.S.
Yeah, we should keep our eye on this. But also, we talk about the KMT and TPP in their nature towards China. Is it accurate to depict KMT as a leaning towards China and the TPP, particularly William Lai, as advocating for Taiwan's independence? Some believe that Washington may not fully trust Lai due to potential provoctions towards the CCP if he becomes Taiwan's president. What's your evaluation about this?
Actually, even in a survey, we don't use a kind of certainly there's a so-called independence or unification, but we actually fix a little bit, especially in our kind of writing literature, whatever. We like to say kind of pro-China or pro.
There's a continuum.
Yeah, and also try to policy toward China more friendly or policy toward China more less friendly, like this continuum. We don't like to put into a two stream. And also I think it's not so fair to say KMT simply equal to pro-China or China friendly, and Lai Qingde is only pro-independence. We follow electoral rule. We are political scientists. That right now they all converging to the middle. And so far the middle, if you ask public opinion poll result, always a certain kind of maintaining status quo in the middle way. It's not so pro-unification, not so pro-independence, something in between. Certainly some details, always a majority.
Right.
If they want to win the presidency, they attend such a single member district because we only elect one president with no kind of runoff election. There's two run, no majority to select in French system. We only have a relative priority. Then they have to converge to the center. So it's not so fair because their policy, like certainly they will have difference. Like Lai Qingde may follow Tsai Ing-wen's strategies. Blur the kind of line, and even for the National Day, they use Taiwan National Day and they make some argument between
and press the mind or reject it to party space.
That kind of they use Taiwan more frequently. Now here like to use the KMT like to use Republic of China, 中华民国 more frequently. That try to make a distinction that involving a kind of very subtle national identity issue.
Professor Liao, I'm still wondering, is Washington concerned with Lai Qingde's pro-independence stance if he is elected?
I think Washington involving a lot of groups. Certain group of people, they still don't trust Lai Qingde. Totally abandoned so-called kind of pro-independence line. Like we just mentioned about there's a kind of Mike Gallagher. He's worrying about Lai Qingde got elected may make some risk in cross-strait issues. There's some people still concerned about that, but some people they still have they are close to Tsai Ing-wen's team, and also Lighting the last visit to the United States seemingly convinced a lot of think tank people and think, okay, think tank professors, they think, okay, Lighting the knows the kind of reality and also become very pragmatic. And he says, okay, he won't adopt kind of the jury independence, but some certain kind of protect Taiwan, follow Tsai Ing-wen's line, he say many times.
Okay, Professor Chen, do you think that Washington, D.C., politicians over there are concerned with Liao-da's stance?
I think there's a consensus in Washington, D.C. think tanks that more and more people saying that no matter who wins the president, China will increase the pressure on Taiwan because they will push for unification more and more. So that's first. And second, we have to define Taiwan independence first. So for the U.S., they do not want to change the so-called status quo. And everyone wants to maintain the status quo, just like the Professor Liao mentioned. So I think there's no problem that any possibility of any parties that will change the status quo toward so-called Taiwan independence. And I think Liao took advantage of Tsai Ing-wen's legacy because Tsai Ing-wen is highly trusted in international politics, and Liao tries to illustrate that he will follows and continues Taiwan's foreign policy to defend against the authoritarian regime. So I think now he already sent a very clear message that he will follow Tsai Ing-wen's legacy.
Would you say this one might be very provocative? Would you say the concern with Liao-da's stance was merely a speculation, or even kind of a fake news or something that's coming out of maybe the opposition camps? Or I mean, how did that come from? The voice that Liao is pro-independence might cause a war or something if he's elected. What's your
I think
assessment? Yeah.
I think Liao is indeed more frequently saying Taiwan independence than other politicians. But just like I say, we should define what is Taiwan independence. So the content of Taiwan independence of Liao is very similar to Tsai Ing-wen's.
Okay.
So it's very similar to Tsai Ing-wen's status quo. So I think there's a much of room for manipulation of others speaking.
Okay. Now let's talk about change the topic talk about the TPP's chair Ko Wen-je's visit to the United States. He actually did that twice. So did you see the benefits? Did Ko Wen-je see the benefits from KMT candidate Hou Yu-i's visit to the United States, which resulted in a noticeable boost in approval ratings of Hou Yu-i? So why didn't Guo experience the similar rise in approval ratings after his first U.S. visit?
I think several purposes for Ko to do the second visit to the U.S. Certainly, like you just mentioned, Hou Yu-i's visit to the United States just came back to U.S. not quite long ago. Similarly, improved his proofreading to a certain extent, even though it's not so much, but still kind of did a quite good job, especially involving kind of relationship with the AIT chairperson, board chairperson, Rosenberg. So to Ko Wen-je, he might think, okay, follow Hou Yu-i's example. He should visit again. That's the first try to compete. Otherwise, he was the winner, second one in second place. Right now, it's kind of mixed. And the second one, I think he tried to shift the domestic media attention from the Gao Hong'an events to his visit to the United States, because Gao Hong'an's events occupy so many attentions, and also majority of this kind of news are negative, not really do any good to Ko Wen-je. Second, shift the media attention. The third one, I think he just visited California and also Silicon Valley, all kind of technical companies. He tried to attract or consolidate his support from the young generation, because his kind of public opinion poll always got almost 50% of support from 20 to 29 or 30 to 39. He's so popular in these two generation. Yeah, so he tried to go to the tech company or in the California and try to consolidate his supporters. And many suspect when he come back to Taiwan, he will announce kind of a future policy, especially related to the young generation. And also, a fourth one is, according to the newspaper report, the person arranged this trip is called Zhou Kailian, was a key person in Google. Maybe she will be his running mate. We don't know, but at the moment, this kind of possibility seemingly is higher. So I think there are multiple kind of purposes for him to go to visit United States.
Right. Just in case of our international audience did not know, Ko Wen is now currently the mayor of the city of Hsinchu, and she is involved in a corruption scandals over there, so she's kind of in trouble in that. And my influence Ko Wen-je's popularity. Okay. What about you? Your assessment about Ko Wen-je's second visit to U.S. Is that gonna work to boost his popularity in the near future?
I don't think so, because he will visit the Western coast, right? So it has more to do with fundraising than to do with his policies. Also, I think he tried to not only compete to consolidate the support from the younger generations, just like Professor Liao mentions. He also wants to compete with Guo Taiming, because after Guo Taiming announced to run, there's a significant drop in the approval rate of Ko Wen-je. So he tries to consolidate his image of he can connect to the
tech person.
The technology persons and the industries. And I don't think Hou You's rise in the poll has to do with the trip to the U.S. because there's no discussion at all at that time. Everyone discusses the scandals of the Hsinchu city mayor Gao Hong'an, which belongs to the same party with Ko Wen-je. So everyone's attention is on Gao Hong'an's scandal. So so Ko Wen-je tries to escape from this.
All right. Okay. Let's wrap up with the candidates, in this presidential campaign, but move our attention to the new concept called U.S. skepticism in Taiwan. We want to look into people's attitudes in Taiwan towards the United States. There's an idea floating around called U.S. skepticism. In fact, the AIT director, Sandra Alderkirk, once expressed her feeling about the U.S. skepticism. She said that this should be protected under the umbrella of freedom of speech. She said that in a show. So let's now turn to that idea in Taiwan. Could you briefly define what U.S. skepticism in your perspective? What does that mean among Taiwanese?
To me, I really don't think there's a so-called U.S. skepticism. I really appreciate what Sandra said. It's no such kind of, and if you have some question, doubt about U.S., it's kind of a normal things, and also it's under the protection of freedom of speech. But if you anti-U.S., I don't know, anti-U.S. may means U.S. is only an enemy, not a friend at all. Maybe to that extreme, maybe it's U.S. skepticism. But skepticism is kind of in between. It's not really, at least immediate draw line is you are enemy, it's just an enemy. So I just don't buy the kind of U.S. skepticism, this idea. I think that for many Taiwanese people, they, for example, myself, I have a daughter in U.S. I have friends a lot. I study in U.S. I just say, okay, I know I can criticize U.S. I don't like it, certain policy of U.S. I don't like the Donald Trump some certain policy, but it's kind of normal. But if we say something not so strongly affiliated, or so strongly emotional attached with U.S., then we seemingly commit some kind of problem. But Sandra say, no, it's no more. And under the umbrella of freedom of speech. So to me, U.S. skepticism is kind of political propaganda.
Okay.
Try to draw a line inside Taiwan.
All right.
Not really a kind of a real existence.
It's not a real issue.
It's not a real issue. Try to draw a line. Try to make the domestic kind of a split.
Okay. Professor Chen, so what's your definition of U.S. skepticism in Taiwan?
Well, Director Sandra Alderkirk also mentions that freedom of speech does not protect people of spreading out conspiracy theories and also disinformation. Okay. So for me, U.S. skepticism is to summarize in three factors. The first one is to illustrate how powerful and how strong is China. So it will say China is very powerful, very strong, and very beautiful and very good. We should maybe we should be pro-China. That is first. And second one is to attack the U.S. To attack U.S. To say that U.S. will abandon Taiwan anytime. The U.S. it will take advantage of Taiwan anytime, and it will blame the U.S. to provoke the close trade relations. And third factor is to say that if there is a conflict, it's all U.S. fault, and we should maybe surrender. We should not defend ourselves. So three factors for my perspective to summarize the U.S. skepticism.
That's actually really precise because we have to get in deeper, delve deeper into the typology of the U.S. skepticism. Actually, according to a report released at the end of September by the Taiwan Information Environment Research Center, so-called IORG, out of 84 instances of skeptical views about the U.S. in Taiwan, 28 were created by the official Chinese Communist Party, CCP. Additionally, in terms of spreading or amplifying these views, the CCP was involved or amplified controversies in as many as 70 instances. These skeptical views about the U.S. include beliefs that the U.S. uses Taiwan as a bargaining chip and will ultimately abandon it, that U.S. democracy is inauthentic and corrupt, like Fang-yu just mentioned, that U.S. will transform Taiwan into a battleground, resulting in Taiwan's destruction, and that the elitists of the U.S. and Taiwan are collaborating to exploit ordinary Chinese citizens. So also, the British magazine Economist also mentioned that China wants Taiwanese voters to believe that the U.S. is Taiwan's primary threat. So how do you interpret China's efforts to influence the election in Taiwan through promoting distrust towards the United States? Maybe Professor Liao can go first.
First, I like to respond to Professor Chen's just mentioned the first criterion of domain of factors. He said that he lists as a kind of a U.S. skepticism. This if people say something regarding China, very good. That's a U.S. skepticism. I just cannot follow this logic. Yeah, I know there's try to make it's a tug of war. Yeah, in Taiwan, try to make a distinction. One side is U.S., one side is China. If you say something good about China, then you are skeptical about U.S. The world is not so simple. It's not a dichotomy.
But
and what you said, you list all the kind of where you say, okay, kind of U.S. may abandon Taiwan. I think here, historically speaking, it's true. It's really could happen. But if we discuss these things under kind of very rational format, yeah, historically speaking, 1950, during the the Korean War, in the beginning, the President Truman indeed tried to use Taiwan as a bargain chip with Mao Zedong, say if you cut off your relation with Russia, that's USSR, then I can give up Taiwan to give to you. At that time, Taiwan was in danger. Jiang Jieshi disappeared.
Some response, yeah.
Well, thanks, Professor Liao, to mention the roots of U.S. skepticism because of the historical memories of Taiwan.
Historical records.
Yes, so there's indeed some U.S. skepticism that U.S. will abandon Taiwan. But right now it's 2023. It's a world that is a battle between democracies and autocracies. It's a world of, this is not 1949 anymore. So right now, it is very important. The U.S. is the most important ally of Taiwan in terms of international politics. And also, we know that China wants to invade Taiwan, China wants to unify Taiwan, and U.S. is the most important ally of Taiwan. And now we have very close relationship, we have a cooperation to strengthen our defense capability. And studies confirm that the U.S. commitment will significantly increase Taiwanese people's confidence on self-defense. So it's very important of the relationship between Taiwan and U.S. And what China is doing now is to destroy this relationship, to say that the U.S. will abandon Taiwan, to say that there's some problem with the U.S., and to blame the U.S. to provoke China, so that Taiwan can be less confident on the U.S., so that we have less confidence on the self-defense. That's China's purpose. So according to IORG's studies, they want to amplify all of these controversial issues between U.S., Taiwan, and China relations. That is to decrease Taiwanese people's confidence.
Okay, so Liao, Professor Liao, you sort of like mentioned that the U.S. skepticism is like a propaganda instead of a fact
propaganda.
But
China's skepticism is also a political propaganda.
Okay,
yeah.
but Professor Chen mentioned that there is some sort of conspiracy theories or even fake news, disinformation involved in the U.S. skepticism. So would you say that it's totally okay for us to say something good about the Chinese authoritarianism in Taiwan, or you think that should be protected in freedom of speech in Taiwan?
Yeah, if people like to give some kind of like academic discussions, you always find something good about China, something bad about China. Yeah, that's the kind of reality. So I think this kind of under protection of freedom of speech, right? But in politics, people like to kind of draw the line. Then they can win the votes, and also just like Professor Chen said, yeah, I have to say, I really view U.S. as friends. We have such deep relation with U.S., but I dislike to just draw a line. Anything you say about U.S., you just mention about the good part of U.S.
Okay, brief
and
response.
Some bad part only belong to China. That's
Sure.
really totally kind of a insult our intelligence.
Okay, yeah, brief response.
Actually, I don't say that we cannot criticize the U.S. and I don't say that we can only say something good about the U.S. Actually, we criticize about U.S. every time, right? So the point is that we cannot use conspiracy theories like to say U.S. will abandon Taiwan, or to say some disinformation about the arms sales. For example, every time when there's arms sales, there's always a lot of disinformation, like the U.S. selling very useless weapons to Taiwan. The U.S. is taking a very high charge of the price, something like that. That is simply false, right? So we cannot say that.
Okay.